is an attack not only on the press, but an attack on leftist press, an attack on anti police activists who gather and disseminate information to help keep their community safe pertaining to the identities of some of these fucking terrible ass police. We're talking about Los Angeles, everybody, the LAPD, a notorious gang of thugs, right? We have talked about LAPD quite a bit on this program. We have talked about the Los Angeles Sheriff's Deputies, Sheriff Department quite a bit on this program. But the city of Los Angeles, now, not to say that they weren't complicit to begin with, but oh my God, they have yanked it up a notch. And let this be yet another, I would say, shining example of fascism, but let's call it a glaring example of fascism. If you could, Will, pop up the LA Times. Now, I know you guys are like, Kim, don't you know the LA Times is a propagandist rag? I do. But that's the point. If the LA Times is kind of getting the shit right, oh, you know shit it must be terrible. It must be absolutely terrible. All right. So this is the LA Times here. Los Angeles sues journalists and activist group to call back photos of undercover officers. You heard it right, everybody. The city of Los Angeles is suing a journalist and an activist group. And if you guys are active on Twitter, some of these names may sound familiar to you. So the LA Times reads, it says, in a move immediately denounced as legally meritless for First Amendment and media rights experts, or by First Amendment and media rights experts, the city of Los Angeles has sued a local journalist and an activist group over the online publication of undercover LAPD officers. Pictures of LAPD officers' pictures, images, by the way, you guys, the city itself had posted, had provided. Oh, yes. I know you guys are like, what? Kim, did you read that right? Because Kim, we know you can't half-ass read. I read it right. The journalists and the activist group are being sued over the pictures, over publishing pictures of LAPD officers that the city itself provided. I'm sorry. Attorneys for the city claims that the release of the images in response to a public records request and related litigation by Knock LA journalist Ben Camacho was, quote, inadvertent and posed a safety risk to the officers. Camacho subsequently provided the images to the Stop LAPD Spying Coalition, which published them online. In response to a records request, the dumbass city sent the journalist the pictures of the cops. The journalist published the pictures of the cops furnished by the city, and now the city said, we're going to sue y'all. If you niggas don't get, quote, the city seeks the return of these inadvertently produced photos to protect the lives and the work of these undercover officers, the city's attorneys wrote in a statement. Both Knock LA and the Stop LAPD Spying Coalition denounced the lawsuit in separate statements. Knock LA, which is a nonprofit online newsroom, called it a clear intimidation tactic by city attorney Haiti Feldstein Soto. The Stop LAPD Spying Coalition, which is a technology oversight group advocating for police abolition, called it an attack on the public's ability to request, analyze, and publish public records. 100% accurate. Hold on, there was another part about this that I wanted to get to. Okay, so basically all the legal, okay, let me read this, and this is basically sums up the last of it. It says legal experts uniformly rejected the lawsuit as baseless and ripe for dismissal under the First Amendment, of course, and other well established legal protections for journalists. And that to me is the most striking thing is that the city obviously is familiar with the Constitution, but when you're being critical about the police and the police state, exceptions will be made to your First Amendment freedoms. Yes. All of a sudden, maybe you don't have First Amendment freedoms. Maybe you are going to have to fend off a meritless lawsuit. And that is the intent, perhaps, to target smaller outlets, smaller newsrooms, maybe coalitions like Stop LAPD Spying, which I don't know for certain how large of a group they are, but I would imagine that it's probably a small number of people that are doing that work, right? So you want to chill the speech of these types of organizations that are doing this kind of specific abolitionist work basically, and perhaps put them at risk of being targeted by Blue Lives Matter zealots because they perceive that their fellow officers are now in danger because these commie news rags publish pictures of our brothers in blue. Well, the city sent the commie journalist the pictures of your brothers in blue. So be mad at the dumbass city. Don't be mad at the journalists for doing their job. It is an amazing set of circumstances, guys. Keep in mind, I'm sorry, let me put my arms at that. But keep in mind, let this be another example of the fascism. Pop up some look, I'd say listen to me, Will. I'm about to say pop up some of them tweets. That's why I'm trying to find them on my phone. Because Ben Camacho and Knock LA obviously tweeted about this. No, no, well, let me speak for Ben Camacho and the Stop LAPD Spying Coalition absolutely tweeted about this. So if you could pop up the Stop LAPD tweet because they put it out there. They said the city of Los Angeles just sued us. They want us to hide public records from watchthewatchers.net and for the county sheriff to seize said property. Wow. This is a new low. The city is suing community groups and journalists for publishing public records. Accurate. Accurate. That was from the good people at Stop LA Spying. Do I have Ben's tweet? I think I do on the doc. But Ben Camacho also tweeted about it, though I appreciate that he did not give a statement to the LA Times. Yeah, dude, fuck the LA Times, dog. It's knock LA all day. We not doing that with the LA Times. So Ben Camacho also tweeted, he said, an update on the LAPD's photo drop. It said the city of LA is suing me and the Stop LAPD Spying Coalition, alleging that I illegally possess the photos that they gave me. I'm not laughing at his circumstance. Obviously, I'm laughing at the ridiculousness of the circumstance that he is facing. The cops are trying to illegally get him to give back pictures that they gave him. He says this comes after they demanded. Oh, did I fuck this up? Yes, after they demanded the return of my flash drive and to delete the digital copies, which is again wild, wild, wild. Like every part of that is fascist and authoritarian. What? I'm sorry. You want me to give back public records that, the public is entitled to see and is legally allowed to do? And these journalists are obviously constitutionally protected in disseminating that information. The LAPD said, nah, give us that shit back. Give us the shit back. What? These niggas is crazy. Excuse me. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to burp your nose here. But hold on. I won't. It does get worse. Actually, I was gonna say, well, wait, it's getting worse. Pop up if you could. Watchthewatcher.net. Will, if you could pop up that website. So, the Stop LAPD Spying Coalition. Again, I really do have an affection for the leftist organizing community out there in Los Angeles. Of course, big up always to People City Council, Richie Sujenko, Big up to the K Town for All and all the um organizations there that try to help the unhoused. Big up to No Olympics. You know what I'm saying? Like we appreciate the work that the folks out there is doing. Big up to outlets like Knock LA and journalists like Cerise Castle. You know what I mean? Like doing the thing. So anyway, so the Stop LAPD Spying Coalition has a website. It's called watchthewatchers.net. Watching the Watchers. Okay. And that's their about page. Like that's their about section where basically, but oh shit, I meant to send you the original joint. But anyway, when you go to the homepage, the landing page of this website, watchthewatchers.net, it allows you to either input the name or the badge number of an LAPD officer, and they are and it is utilizing this database. It will bring up all kinds of information about the officer, their name, their rank, where they're stationed or whatever, like where deployed. I don't know what the cops do, whatever they do, their race, all kinds of information. But again, if you could, will go to the next tweet on January 13th, 2023. That's what the tweet reads, and it's from the Stop LAPD Spying Coalition. You guys, the city of Los Angeles routinely publishes this information themselves. In fact, if you go to the Stop LAPD Spying Coalition Twitter page, they have threaded a lot, a lot of these kinds of information dumps that the city itself does, that the city of Los Angeles actually does. Let me read you what the text says for this. It says on January 13th, 2023, LAPD made public a roster of its 9,000 or of 9,165 sworn LAPD personnel, listing the full names, the LAPD serial number, LAPD rank, LAPD division, gender, ethnicity, and year of hire. This is the information, the precise information that the Stop LAPD Spying Coalition and journalist Ben Camacho are being sued over. They're being sued over shit that the city itself posted. The upside down, guys. Wait, Kim, where are we? We are in the upside down. We are in the fucking upside down. But naturally, this is not about a lawsuit that the city of Los Angeles thinks that it can win. This is trying to get outlets like Knock LA and groups, community groups like Stop LAPD Spying Coalition. This is to get them to shut the fuck up and sit down. And this is a fascist move. This is an authoritarian move. This is a totalitarian move. This is all the moves. All the moves. And look, and right on time, y'all. Who do you think? Who do you think in Los Angeles? Put me back on screen, Will. Yeah, because I'm ready to get mad now. Who do y'all think within the elected official structure government in Los Angeles, who in the hell do y'all think is standing on the side of the fucking cops? Okay, if you guessed LAPD's recently elected mayor, former Congresswoman Karen Bass, you would be right. You would be right. Karen Bass, I'm about to play this clip. Karen Bass sounded like Joe fucking Biden, which again is no shock at all. And again, why these black Democratic mayors will always be losers. They are losers. The misleadership class is strong out here. Listen to what Karen Bass said at a press conference. And I think this clip is courtesy of KTLA. Let's take a look. Will didn't pull the clip.
Yeah, I got it. Give me 1 second. Sorry.
Alrighty. Mm. If you guys go to Status Quo, we're waiting for Will to get the clip together. Wednesday, I did host Status Quo, so I'm gonna be on Status Quo like every other Wednesday, okay? So don't look for me every Wednesday. I'll be there every other Wednesday, but you should support Status Quo anyway because they do good work over there. I interviewed Erica Nanton, who is an organizer in Chicago. We were talking about the election of Brandon Johnson to be the new mayor of Chicago, defeating another Democrat, I guess, but basically the successor of Lori Lightfoot, who we know as a black Democrat did a terrible job by the black and brown communities in Chicago. I mean, again, I know what this is my main selling point or non-selling point about Lori Lightfoot is that Lori Lightfoot gave the cops all the COVID money. She gave the cops all the COVID money and was anyway running excuses for CPD, not doing a good job of having a good relationship with the Chicago Teachers Union, and the kids hated her. Okay, the kids in Chicago did not fuck with Lori Lightfoot. They rode up on Lori Lightfoot at City Hall lots of times and told her she wasn't shit, which is cool. But I was a little reluctant to get too excited about the election of Brandon Johnson. And again, I'm saying this is somebody that is not totally familiar with his work. I don't know much about him beyond what the sister told me when I interviewed her on Wednesday. And she said that he comes out of the movement and she seemed very optimistic. And I'm going to share her optimism, but with a dash of skepticism, just because I just seen this movie too many times before. I've seen these young black ambitious, progressive folks get elected to offices like mayor, to offices like city council. And then all of a sudden they go real right real fast. And maybe it's not all the way to the right, but it's enough in the middle. It's center right. It's like, does this shit even count? Like, what are you doing, man? What are you doing? And the fact that Brandon Johnson had to, or I don't know if he had to, but he did backpedal some from his original support of defunding the police, and then he said he's not going to defund the police. Because I'm like, oh nigga, here we go again. Anyway, we got the clip. Will.
Well, whether I support the lawsuit or not, what is so egregious to me is the idea that these officers' identity has been revealed, and I'm particularly concerned with the officers who have worked undercover. As it stands now, the law enforcement is down several hundred officers, and with retirements that can come in the next year, we are in a situation where law enforcement can lose a lot of its workforce. I'm very worried that with the officers who have been revealed, that it might increase people leaving the department. So I have been very, very worried. I think this was an egregious mistake. I think we need to get to the bottom of how this happened, and people need to be held fully accountable. I, I have no comment about the lawsuit. I have a lot to say, as I did, about what happened.
Mayor Bass, what happened is that your city, I don't know what agency it was. I don't know if it was LAPD. I don't know. I don't know. But this information has been published and republished lots of times. Again, go to the Stop LAPD Spying Coalition website. They have threaded a lot of instances going back at least 2 to 3 years, which this information, this roster information about LAPD was published to everybody, to everybody, not just sent out to some journalists. Like, all right, we just gonna send this to you, but shh, don't put this out there nowhere. No, nigga, this shit was publicly available. And now journalists and community activists are being sued for disseminating public records. So what do you want? You want a secret police force? Is that the goal here? Mayor Curran? Mayor Curran? Oh, Curran. Don't you Curran it up. But she Curraning it up in a not good way here. And what the other thing that Mayor Bass just said there that I find ultimately hilarious. You guys notice the rhetoric coming from politicians regarding the crisis of we don't have our police departments fully staffed. We're at a shortage. We're losing officers. People don't want to be police because blah, blah, blah. I thought these were supposed to be tough guys. Why the fuck they need their hand held? If you're going to be a public servant to protect and serve the public, and you are a taxpayer, a taxpayer funded entity, there's nothing that should be secret about who's part of your ranks. And that information released about the officers, their name, ethnicity, where they're stationed, all that's very relevant to people in the public who may need to track down these officers to file complaints against them, to see if the officer filled out a report regarding an incident that a civilian may have had. Like, this information is all very relevant. And she talks about our undercover officers. Well, what she means is plainclothes officers. And again, who the fuck are they? The Gestapo? I mean, what you think this is? Why do you think that any officer's identity should be withheld from the public? That's authoritarianism. That's fascism. That's the shit that Republicans and Democrats alike in this country will scream and pull their hair out about. That's like Russia. That's like Stalin. That's like Putin. The secret police, yeah. It's funny how much in common America has with Russia. And yet here America go constantly talking shit about the repression of Russia and the Russian state and the Russian oligarchs. Excuse me? We have the mirror images of all of those things exactly here in this country. Okay. Only difference is our oligarchs just don't speak Russian. That's it. And our secret police apparently have the support of the newly elected Democratic mayor there, Karen Bass. And I'm hearing this rhetoric really coming from elected officials, and it's most notably Black Democrats from across the country. Right before we went on air, there was a story that was running on Channel 4 that said that DC Metropolitan Police, now get y'all pencils out because this is important. Metropolitan Police is about to increase the signing bonus to new police recruits. They're going to increase it from $20,000 to $25,000. $25,000. They're giving new rookie cops 25 G's to sign their name on the dotted line. Jesus, Allah be offense. Now, how many of y'all about to sign up to be cops? Be honest. Some of y'all about to be walking up and down Georgia Avenue. Quit lying, quit playing. But it's a lot. This is an extension of propaganda too. Like, oh my God, like if we don't maximize our police ranks, anarchy, chaos will ensue. We have to throw so much money at police in order to make people want to be police. But it's not just throwing a lot of money at police to encourage them to want to be police. No, you can't diminish police morale by telling them they can't commit regular ass traffic stops under the pretext of trying to search people's vehicles to find more shit. No, when the police get told that is something that the public wants, that they don't want people, motorists, particularly Black and brown motorists, to simply be racially profiled and targeted for stupid shit like expired registration sticker or a blown tail light. When the public and summarily elected bodies take statements to try to address police reform, overwhelmingly the police say, fuck that shit. We don't want to be reformed. We love pulling niggas over. We love pulling niggas out the car and handcuffing them and searching them and going through their car and tearing their vehicles up. We love that shit. And if you tell us we can't do that shit, then we quit. then we don't want to be police no more because the shit ain't fun no more if we can't fuck up Black people. Be mindful of all that propaganda because that propaganda is strong. That rhetoric is strong out here right now about how the police departments are at a shortage and at depletion and whatever. But circling back to the story, the fact that the city of Los Angeles is doing this is that the city attorney and the mayor and LAPD are ganging up against Ben Camacho and the Stop LAPD Spying Coalition is something that we absolutely need to take notice of, okay? I am not certain if Ben or the Stop LAPD Spying Coalition have asked for any material support. If they do, please let us know because we would like to reach out and help them in any way we can because I mean, if they're coming from the Stop LAPD Coalition, and coming from for a journalist like Ben Camacho from an outlet like Knock LA, what's to stop PG County police from coming to fucking sue my ass? You know what I'm saying? What's to stop BPM from being targeted by Atlanta police or Georgia Bureau of Investigation? I mean, you know what I'm saying? If none of us are safe, then none of us are safe. I fucked up that phraseology. If one of us are not safe, then all of us are not safe. Then none of us are safe. And that's how I look at it, especially as a journalist, covering the kind of topics from the perspective that I do and from other outlets that I am in community with, that I support. Black Power Media, Status Quo. I fuck with Revolutionary Blackout Network. You know what I'm saying? Like if Knock LA, if the Stop LAPD Coalition is on the chopping board to be targeted, it's time for me to go. None of us are safe. So anyway, fascism is targeting journalists once again. Fascism is targeting duly elected, democratically elected officials once again. And make no mistake, this is America right now. And truthfully, this is how America has always been.